Yep.
Hi everyone, and welcome into the room today. My name is Jim Hayter, and I'm a member of the Westcon-Comstor Cloud team, and I'm lucky enough to be your host today. This is another one of our webinars in our webinar series, and the topic today is the recently launched Dynamic Compute Management Platform, Cmpute IO. And I'll be giving you an overview of the service, and my colleague Kalpesh will also be doing a demonstration at the end. So if you have any questions during the presentations, could you please email them to our support teams, and they'll respond to your questions very promptly. Their emails will appear at the end of on the last slide. Now we do that because this session is being recorded and will be made available in our YouTube library in the future. So let me just share my screen here and we will get underway. So the first thing on the screen really is all about our agenda. So what's the agenda today? We'll start off with a little bit about the company, who they are, and some of the major challenges in AWS. We'll also talk about 4 key areas that Cmpute IO addresses, and also how to save you money. I think that's probably a good thing, right? And exactly what Cmpute IO supports, their differentiation points, and why you should work with Cmpute IO. Then we have a very interesting part, Cmpute IO pricing and billing, and you're going to be surprised how the pricing is calculated. Then we'll have Kalpesh will do a Cmpute IO demonstration for about 5 minutes, and then we'll show you how to place an order and who to contact. So that's the agenda for this webinar. So about the company, Cmpute IO has been working with AWS since 2008. So they're not just a startup company, they've been putting a lot of work into this service. They are financially backed by a San Francisco company, fundraising company called Alchemist Accelerator, a large fundraiser, fund sourcing company in the States. And Cmpute IO have offices in San Francisco and in India. So that's interesting how they're expanding into that area. And they are at AWS Advanced Technology Partners. So they're very experienced in the AWS platforms. Now, the challenges around AWS, the compute challenges, it's very complex when you start to think of ways for cost optimization within AWS. There are just so many options to choose from, 50 different instance types and across many availability zones and regions. And quite often there's inconsistent manual processes. And in fact, if you've seen that little diagram that popped up, you've got competing interests within a company trying to find ways to save costs. You've got the ops people, you've got development people, and you've even got line of business. All of them sort of working sometimes in complete blindness of what each other's trying to do. So, Cmpute IO optimizes the AWS environment in 4 key areas. So cost is a major one. What they do with on-demand, spot, and reserved instances, they use this system for cost savings. Availability, they also balance workloads across areas at different availability zones and instance types. So it's all about availability as well. Now they've very cleverly used time as a way to save money in different areas, so you can schedule stop and start instances in different areas and different zones. And performance. Now this is where it gets really clever as well. They automatically analyze application performance and right-sizing instances. And that's something that helps to avoid over-provisioning. So those are the 4 areas. Now, Cmpute also provides savings by these 3 main areas in AWS. Instance optimization, and it's pretty, it's a simple process really of dynamically managing those instances across the demand, spot and reserved instances areas. Performance optimization, right-sizing instances. This helps to prevent the over-provisioning of charges as well, over-provisioning charges by performance optimization. And lastly, time optimization. The customer or the reseller gets to schedule when they want to start and stop these instances and applications. So it's a well thought out, very simple system. Now, this is a particular case study from a company called IndieFlix. And IndieFlix, they really talk about how much they're saving, 80% lower than AWS On Demand. Now, you have to be aware that that's not necessarily across the board. That may be for DevOps or a particular project that they're working on, they've managed to save 80% lower. And it's just an indication of the sort of savings you can get. Now, what does AWS actually support? What does Cmpute IO support? They support these areas here within a company. And you'll notice on the left-hand side, AWS services, auto-scaling groups, cloud formation. These are pretty basic AWS services, and they are used mainly by project teams for particular projects. So a very broad area that Cmpute IO supports. Now, why Cmpute IO? What's the differentiation points for this company? I think, put simply, the little diagram on the right-hand side gives you an indication of what they cover. Cloud configuration, instant right-sizing, spot bid management. That's a big time saver. If you can set times up to start and stop when you want to go to spot instances, that is a very big time saver. Monitoring, logging and notifications. These are all things that are automated by Cmpute IO. And it's really about they take the complexity associated with compute management by automating those activities as above here, and resulting in, they say, up to 85% in AWS costs. So those are the differentiation points. It's really quite remarkable how they do that. Now, why should a reseller work with Cmpute IO? These are the reasons listed here, and once you see the cost setup and then the pricing model, it's pretty unique. It's very cleverly done, but it's all about revenue sharing the opportunity with your end users as well. Ability to upsell, cost reduction. So in this particular instance here, we're talking about a proposal that you can use to gain new AWS customers for your company, for you as a reseller. Many of them are not using any form of cost savings, and Cmpute IO can be used as a catalyst for them to come on board with you as an end user. It's really simple to implement. It's not hard to do. Get started on the platform really quickly. And on top of that, we have dedicated support for resellers, both internally here at Westcon and also within the Cmpute IO team as well. So the other thing that I really liked when I read this was that the product is continually updated. So there's a particular roadmap that they're working on. So they haven't stopped with just what they have at the moment. They are looking to advance this more as well. So Cmpute IO pricing. Now, this is one of the best pricing models I've seen. It's really quite well worked out. You only pay an amount based on your savings, what Cmpute IO saves you. And so, example pricing, here we are. For example, in this model, if you have got 714 hours, spot instant hours, your on-demand cost might be around $107.58 USD. By spot saving using Cmpute IO, you're making savings of $91.768 or 85.29% saving. That's pretty remarkable, really. And here's your end user costs here. So they're saying that for that sort of saving, you're going to be paying the end user, the customer is going to be paying 20% of that saving, which they'll be paying out $18.35 USD for the service. And the reseller, you as the reseller is going to get pay 16% of the savings. So 16% of $91.76.9 is $14.68. So it's a very carefully put together pricing and cost formula. And I think it works very, very well. So moving right on to the next one. Did we look at this? We did already. We've talked about pay only on savings. This is the sort of pricing that you're going to expect as per the previous slide. Now, how does your bill actually look? This is how your bill will be presented to you. And again, you get a high-level billing view, which is probably, after the first 2 or 3 months, this is probably the only thing that you want to look at. For the first month or so, you might also want the detailed billing view to work out how they've got this calculation. But once you've worked that out, going forward, you'd probably, as a reseller, be happy with just the high-level billing view. Now we come to the demonstration. I'm going to hand over to my colleague here now, Kalpesh, and you'll need to probably pass the ball over to Kalpesh if you can, Rita. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Kalpesh. I work with the Westcon as technical specialist. I will run through a small demo for Cmpute IO, and I will show you how the website looks like and how you can register your AWS account with Cmpute IO. So let me first share my screen shortly, just a moment. All right, this is the Cmpute IO website. You have to register your email address, your organization, and create your link for Cmpute IO to register your organization. So once you join Cmpute IO, you will receive an email notification, something like this, where it will ask you to activate your account and create a password for your account. So as soon as you create your account, you can have your email login. So I will just log in with my test account.
It looks pretty simple, Kalpesh.
Yeah. Okay, as soon as you log into the website, it will ask you to add your AWS account and your end user AWS account. So we will click on Add AWS account. So if you see here on the left-hand side, it gives you a clear instructions on how to register an AWS account. So I will take you through a walkthrough on this. So you have to click on the Launch Stack. What this stack does is it will take you to your AWS console, and it creates a read and write script for Cmpute IO to read your AWS workloads and make changes accordingly as you select a particular job. So here it automatically creates a template. You just have to click Next. That's a stack name by default. Just have to click Next here. You can tag your stack with a name like Cmpute IO for your reference. This can be a separate name as you prefer, and click Next and just click on Acknowledge this and click on Create. So as soon as you click on Create, it will create a stack process for you. So it just have to give a couple of minutes for it to complete the process. So here you can see what the stack is creating a template for you. Okay, so once the Stackway completes, you have to go into the Resources tab and go to Batchley Trusted Role. Here you need to copy the ARN number that it generates on your AWS account. So this is the ARN role. Copy this into the Cmpute IO website. Here, you can give the name of your account. For example, if it is my account, so I will add as an account. You can select the region accordingly. If you have created your workload into a particular region, you can select a Sydney region, for example, and click on Add Account. So that's a very simple process to add AWS accounts to your Cmpute IO website. So this is something a dashboard looks like for Cmpute IO. Here it gives you like your spotometer, your instant savings. Here at the beginning we have not created any jobs, but you can go into the apps tab and you can see all the jobs that you wish to create and run. You can also schedule a job and run a savings predictor on your job, and then in that way you can see how much savings you can predict for that particular jobs. If you have your own customized application, Cmpute IO do support that as well into the private apps field. So that's all from my side. Do you have any questions?
Well, Kalpesh, you know, if someone was interested in doing this, you'd be able to help them step through those particular points as well to help them get on board?
Yes, sure. So if anybody has any question or have any onboarding requirements, you can come back to us at CCST team, and we will be able to help you on that.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Now, Rita, if you could pass the ball back to me. I've got a couple of more slides I need to share, and we'll be good to go. Yes, I do. So look at this now, and I'll just reshare my screen again. Right, yeah, so that's the demonstration, and I think you covered this off as well. Have you seen that yet?
I can share your screen.
Are you seeing the screen?
No.
Okay.
No, we haven't seen it. Can you share the screen, please?
Sure, okay. Right, yeah, how's that? Everyone seeing that screen? Great,
That's
okay.
awesome.
So this was the 2 slides leading up to your presentation. So how to register and how to link your account. You've just shown that, Kalpesh, and the basic dashboard. That's great. And this here is the form that they'll get to fill in on the right-hand side there. And I like that path to 87% AWS savings starts here. And that's the website at the top there. If you click on that, we can send you that detail. That's the order form that you'll get to fill in. So this is the IO order request, and we'll show you generally when you request the information, we need you to complete this simple form, and then these are the people that you email it to. So our Westcon Cloud Customer Success Centre in New Zealand, that's their email address in Australia, Indonesia, and Singapore. So thank you very much for your attention today. We really appreciate you taking the time, and this recording will be kept on our YouTube library for future reference. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.